2020. Project management professionals are all commenting that the Agile development model won the battle against Waterfall. Is that true? Hi there! Welcome to my channel. I am Abadde, and in this channel I help technology professionals develop their careers through knowledge. I also help those professionals to avoid the most common uncertainties and mistakes that may arise along the way. If you seek for career direction, establish a network of relationships with other professionals in the area, and access to a free learning content, please subscribe to this channel. There is also a version of this video in Portuguese and another in Spanish, which you can access by clicking the cards right here above. Okay? At the end of this video, I am offering you a code to download an Excel spreadsheet that will allow you to choose which methodology to use according to the data and characteristics of your own project. And also, there's a quick explanation on the end of the video too, how the Prince2 methodology solves the dilemma exposed in this video. Let's go straight to today's topic. Thank you. Barcelona against Real Madrid, Ferrari versus McLaren. Healthy rivalry should only exist in sports. However, it is still common even in the technology and business area, and of course project management too. Have you ever heard this computer manufacturer is better than the other? Or which operating system is better than the other? It's very common to see discussions against fans of Android and Apple, arguing to prove what's the best platform. The same phenomenon happened with two management models, the Agile project management, which we will refer as Agile from now on, and the Waterfall project management, that we will just refer as Waterfall from now on too. If you are not familiar with these concepts, I will give you a very quick explanation right now. Agile is a project model that assists teams in responding to unpredictability of constructing software. It uses incremental iterative work sequences that are commonly known as sprints, which at the end you have a partial delivery of your project. There is a bunch of agile methodologies in the market. I can give you some examples like Scrum, Kanban, Lean, Extreme Programming, and so on. We will have video on this channel detailing each one of them. The waterfall model is a classical model for conducting projects in a linear and sequential approach. It's termed as waterfall because the model develops systematically from one phase to another in a downward fashion. This model is divided into different phases, and the output of one phase is used as the input of the next phase. There is also tons of waterfall methodologies in the market, like Prince2, B-Model, SDLC, and much others. In the middle of this battle, I've always defended the view that there is no better or worse model, but you, who may took your Scrum course, must be at this moment shaking your head and saying that I'm wrong, and also saying I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you are the ones which believe Agile killed Waterfall. In this case, I ask you the opportunity to show in 5 minutes and prove my point. I hope that in the end of this explanation we will both agree with the conclusions. Okay? Well, during my working life, I met many people who, knowing the approach of agile methodologies constructing projects, came out enthusiastically raising flags saying that they have become more productive, and now, since they know Agile, they know a better modern management technique. I was once one of those, and I swear to you that the practice on giving consulting for large organizations in 11 countries showed me some difficulties in implementing Agile. At this video, we will comment 5 points that is necessary to evaluate when deciding between using Agile or Waterfall. And I even put these factors in a decision sheet that you will be able to download with the code provided at the end of the video, allowing you to know quickly and with just the file data when to use one or the another. Before going to the points, take a break and please subscribe to this channel. Give a thumbs up and join us to follow many other subjects like this in the future. Thank you. Well, let's get to the point. First point, project scope. Let's see. Let's suppose that in your project changes are welcome and can be accommodated within the project without significant impact on both budget or the delivery time. In this case, the preferred method to use is Agile. For when talking about Agile, planning effort relaxes a little and is made more flexible. Agile uses a more empirical development because it is based on experimentation and extensive user testing. By the other hand, let's suppose you are working in an airplane project, which costs billions of dollars and has a scope very regulated not only by industry but also by the governments. A small change of scope at the end of the project can impact its delivery in months or even years and cost a few million more in the budget. In this case, project scope changes can even mean the end of a company that goes through this situation. I really prefer for this kind of situation to use Waterfall methodology. Second point, the team. And before you come off with that old story that Agile is only for small teams and not for the big ones, which should use Waterfall, let me tell you something. You are totally wrong. There are Agile methodologies for big teams like Scrum and Safe methodology. Stay tuned because we will have a series of videos here in this channel about both methodologies, okay? And you can know that and learn something that it's very feasible to have big teams using Agile projects, okay? However, what is the most important characteristic related to the team when you need to decide the project model? In my humble opinion, it's the team culture. A project is driven by people, not by machines. And each group of people has its own culture that is not restricted only to geographical scope. Sometimes changes between companies within the same city in the same country. I saw lots of companies which decided that they will work with Agile without preparing the team culture to absorb it. And the next day we had a group of 20 people in a room doing a good morning meeting that lasts 2.5 hours. I can assure you this is very counterproductive. A team that is ready to work with Agile needs to have a coordination, a configuration, hierarchy, and be inserted inside an environment that favors the use of the methodology. I'm tired of seeing companies that define working with Agile methods and in the same time put in the employee evaluation targets on which the annual bonus depends goals such as delivery project X within the deadline A and within budget B. If the team culture is still thinking in old performance drivers like time and budget, there is no reason to follow Agile. Better go to Waterfall and change the company culture before using Agile. It's much better to do like that. Third point, customers or in some cases users. Let's give you an example. You decided that your project is going to be Agile, okay? You choose the XP methodology, but your customer or user is an important engineer in the automotive industry. Will this person have time to watch your screen while you develop the new system? If the answer is yes, and it can be, you can follow this or any other Agile method you want. Because every Agile method needs a tight participation of the customer. By the other hand, if your customer has a full day of meetings and this person's participation in the project must be agreed in advance, I'm sorry, but you better use Waterfall in this case rather than Agile. The imposition of following a previously defined and agreed schedule between IT and business, the need to control in advance if a schedule deviation occurs and what to do in this case, is the most transparent way yet to control your project. Okay? Fourth point, requirements. Alright, your requirements can change, improve, be cancelled, and you have the risk of even stop your project. If so, you have everything to use Agile. By the other hand, imagine that you have a project in the pharmaceutical industry. This type of project has requirements, metrics, and objectives depending on the sanitary control that has to meet, very restricted in terms of quality and acceptance. This kind of requirements doesn't change. In this case, think the possibility to use Waterfall. Agile, in the end, is perfect to deal with uncertainties, and Waterfall is more focused on stability in terms of requirements. Okay? Fifth point, budget. Let's give an example. The project budget is pretty tight and you have some uncertainties about whether to invest on this project. Stakeholders prefer to put a little money before and then invest in the rest of this budget depending on the results obtained in the first phase. Okay? If this is the case, so Agile is perfect fit. However, I'll give you another example. Sometimes you need to work with an external supply doing most of the work. In addition, you have a fixed amount to spend, and hiring a big volume of hours in a shot will represent a discount of 30% in your budget. In this case, it may be better to use Waterfall, because the savings will be huge and the synergy between all these resources is a crucial factor to the success of the project. Besides that, you need to secure the team isn't the same for a long period, and a high turnover always represents a risk for any project. If still you're not yet convinced that nowadays Agile did not kill Waterfall, I will leave here one last reflection, very serious. The word didn't start in 2001 when Agile Manifesto was created. Again, the word didn't start in 2001 when Agile Manifesto was created. I mean, before the 21st century, humanity built huge projects. Roads, buildings, airplanes, and ocean liners 5 or 6 times larger than the Titanic. Almost everything was built using Waterfall model, and mostly of them were delivered on time, obtained financial return, and generated customer satisfaction. Think that is not your new mobile application or the implementation of an optical fiber in an industrial park, which will be more special than building a satellite network or a locomotive, which may use Waterfall. Of course, your stuff is very important, but is it so important that you can't at least give a chance to a model so extensively used and proved in the past? At this moment, people are still struggling to implement Agile in their companies, and certainly will take some decades to adapt the organization cultures to use it. Bossy bosses and some toxic environment transforming the Agile implementation in a painful effort. There are other new organizational approaches like Management 3.0 which are trying to solve this problem, but they are still in the beginning. If you wanted to solve this problem nowadays, the example I like most is how Prince2 Agile methodology solved this dilemma. The methodology has an entire chapter about tells you how much agilism can be applied to your Prince2 project. Let me explain better. It assumes you have agile practices which can be applied in your Waterfall project as accelerators, depending on how mature your environment is to receive these practices. In an extreme case, this methodology could even recommend applying none of agile methods in your project. Last but not least, if you still disagree with me, please leave your comment on this video. I would like to hear from you, and maybe this is a very good opportunity for me to learn something too. Let's debate. I'm sure the project management community can benefit from your contribution. If you are happy with this video, click on the link in the description and use the Abadde code here to download an Excel spreadsheet with the decision tree that will allow you to decide the percent of chance you can succeed on applying Agile to your project. And please do not forget to subscribe if you want to know more about the concepts we are dealing with in here. And finally, big hug and see you next time. Bye bye.